Here is the Krita interface when you first open it up. First thing we want to do is create a new file. So we're going to go up here to New File. It's going to give us some different choices, different sizes of files. I've got one that's a custom document that's a square, that's 1200 by 1200. So I'm going to go ahead and say create that. And here is the canvas. And when it comes up, you have a default usually to the brush setting, which is right there. And this will now allow us to make some different kinds of marks. This is a sort of like a chalk marker kind of brush. I'm going to go to the ink marker and draw with this. We can adjust the size of the mark up here, and we can adjust the opacity here. I'll put this on about 50%. And then you see some of the white showing through, and you can layer it like that. The back arrow, just back button here, just eliminates whatever you've done. How do we set up the color? We start out with the actual hue here is on this outside wheel. We go from green to yellow to red to purple, blue, etc. Now, when we move inside the triangle, in this corner, we get the most saturated colors, so pure red. And if we move it up, it gets darker. And if we move it to the left, it gets lighter. And if we move it in the middle, it gets more neutral and gray. So once again, making some marks with the brush here, just messing around. Some of the key commands that you might want to use that are handy. The first one we're going to look at is the M key, which gives you a mirror image. Flips it back and forth. Another one you can use when you're working on things is rotating it counterclockwise by pressing 4 on your keyboard. Pressing 6 on the keyboard turns it the other way, and pressing 5 returns it back here. When we're working on a layer, and the layer that's highlighted is the one that we can mark on. If I hide that, we don't see that layer, and then it's not going to let me draw on anything. If I want to add another layer, I'd use the plus arrow, and there's another layer. So I can change colors and make some different marks here. And if I hide the top layer, you just see the layer underneath. To zoom in, use the plus key, and to zoom out, use the minus key. Tools should all be showing up over here. You can adjust this to the left and right to get more tools to show or make more workspace. The hand tool moves the canvas around, and we'll look at some of the other tools later. But here's the basic way you create colors with hues by moving this wheel around. You change the saturation and value by moving within the triangle. You flip things by using the M key. And you rotate things by using 4, 6, and returning it to the original position by using 5. So it's important to always save your work on Krita, and there's 2 ways we want to save your Krita files. The first one is to go to File and just say Save, and it's going to default to a Krita file, or Save As. So I'm going to give this just a random name here and put it on my desktop, and it's going to save it as a .kra document. That means that when you open that up again, you can keep working on the file, adding layers, changing colors, anything you want to do. So the next way we want to save these files, especially when you have something that's close to being finished or finished, is go to Export. Where'd you go? Right here. And you can give it a different title or keep the same, but instead of a Krita file, we're going to save it as a PNG. That is the file type that's going to give you all the transparency and colors and everything that you want to have with that saved document. It's going to come up with a menu that asks you about this file size and all that. So when you get that the way you want, you say okay, and then it's saved as a picture on your desktop. You can email the Krita files, the PNGs or the .kras. So if you're working on something with someone else or you want to use it as a sort of cloud storage, I recommend emailing your files to yourselves. And then if anything happens with your computer or with the program you're working on, you've still got that file there in the email cloud.